I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. I'm
Long time
finally,
no see.
I know, right? I know, I feel the same way. And I'm glad that you actually agreed to come on because you do some amazing work, needless to say. So
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
you're more than welcome. The first question is gonna be pretty much who are you? How did you get into photography?
Yeah, awesome. Well, I am Mikayla Elrod. I am the owner of Moonray Photography.
Love that
Um,
name.
Thank you. Yes, it's actually I almost didn't go with it, but I have like this weird obsession with the moon. I just love
Hmm.
it. Have all those, cliche quotes of you shine the darkest or like shine the brightest from the darkest of times or whatever.
But it's true.
Um, Yeah, exactly. And then my middle name is Ray after my grandmother. So I was like, I'm gonna put the two most important things together.
So you did the same I did. Because James is my middle name, so
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome.
it is.
Yeah, so that's how that happened. But 4 years ago, I my brother lives in a different state and he had bought a camera while he was in a like away.
Mhm.
And he had come home to like visit and he had his camera and we were out taking pictures and I just like fell in love with the camera and was just having like so much fun. That it was actually like kind of towards the end of my high school career, if you will, I guess. But um a few years ago is when I opened the business. But
Yeah.
at the end of high school into college, my mom, after all that, my parents had bought me a camera and I like was just obsessed. So I was always taking photos. And then a friend of mine who was in college with me said that she was getting married. It was like a super small backyard wedding and just wanted, a few hours worth of coverage. I'd never done it before. And I was like, let's do it.
Hmm.
But obviously I was nervous and I didn't want to just go to a wedding without any experience at all. So
Hmm.
I had posted in a Facebook group looking for um somebody who wanted a second shooter just so I could gain experience. And I had only planned on doing this one wedding. Like it wasn't a thing. Like I wasn't like gonna be just jumping into weddings. I
Hmm.
just wanted experience for my friend's wedding so I didn't mess up her day.
Yep, I
Um
understand.
yeah, so I had a wonderful, wonderful mentor. His name is Derek Gauchi. He owns Falcon Film Studios. He actually commented and was like, I'll pay you to work for us as a second shooter if you want to join our team. So I was like, why not make some extra cash while I'm in college? And
Hmm.
I love taking photos. So that would be so fun. And it opened up a whole new world. So that's how I got started. I was actually in school because I wanted to like be a doctor or like a nurse and
Wow.
dropped out to run a photography company.
No, similar background. I actually went to school. Actually, I went to school twice. One was to become a nurse, and the second time was to be a CPA. But honestly,
Oh, wow.
just like you, though, it's not for me. I wasn't happy doing it.
Yeah.
I was miserable. So
Oh, really?
yeah. So I'm
I
just like you. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, you're okay. I loved school. I did research on campus. Like I was there after my classes. I was always on campus trying to study. Sometimes I would be at the library until midnight. Like it would have to close in order for me to leave. Like I loved school. But it just
Hmm.
got to a point where I was editing more than I was studying.
Yep.
And then it turned into, okay, what like major can I switch that would get me off campus early, but still stay in the sciences?
Hmm.
So I switched my majors quite a few times within the medical like industry, I guess, if you will.
Yeah.
Um, so that way I could still, because I love science. So I wanted to keep that in my life. But I was editing during classes, during lectures, I was editing. When I was supposed to be at study groups, I was taking pictures or,
Hmm.
learning something new in, Lightroom and things like that. So it just became a point where I was like, I'm wasting time trying to finish a degree. Like I'm half I was gonna cuss, but like I
No, don't
am not
worry. Go ahead.
I'm half-assing both of
Hmm.
them when I should be putting my all into one of them.
Hmm.
And photography won. I would have rather put my all into photography.
Yeah, that's funny you say that because, like I said, I only had 1 year left of accounting
Oh,
when I
wow.
decided not
Yeah.
to go back. It was just miserable, man. And I think that was around the same time I fell in love with photography and videography too.
Yeah.
And like you said, I just pretty much I fell in love with editing.
Right. Yeah.
Like people don't like it seems like people don't understand. Like a lot of times when we go to school, I want to say a lot of times we're not doing it for us. We're doing it for our parents or
Yeah.
somebody else.
Yeah.
And if we're not doing it to make ourselves happy,
Right.
then it's gonna make us miserable. Like I know a
Absolutely.
nurse who's a photographer as well. And her husband actually did really good last year. But she was a nurse and then she quit because the stress got to her. And she
Yeah.
took on another job and now she's much happier.
That's awesome. And it's true. It's true. We typically like to go in a direction that we feel is right. There's this timeline
Mm-hmm.
that everyone's always gone by. You go to high school, you get out of high school, you go right into college, you get a career, you get a family,
Mm-hmm.
you're done. You work for the rest of your
Yeah,
life, but it's like
exactly.
it truly doesn't have to be that way.
No, it don't. And I feel like the best way to be happy in life is to do what you want, do what you're in
Yeah,
love with. Because if you do, you can pretty much turn that into a career. Look at all the guys
absolutely.
on YouTube talking about Star Wars. So,
I mean, look at the people who are playing video games and making so
yeah.
much money. I mean, look at these TikTok stars for
Hmm.
crying out loud. People
I
are
know,
like
right?
living
Yes,
the dream just being on TikTok. So
yes, yes. And
anything is actually possible, especially in today's age.
amen. You just gotta take that first step.
You have to. And it is super scary. Sometimes
Hmm.
financial situations aren't the best, but I've been
Yep.
running my company for 4 years now, and I did not take it on full time until 3 months ago. And I made sure to save up. I opened up a completely different, account so that way I
Hmm.
could have a fall on or
Hmm.
whatever, just in case, I needed to dip into it or if I wasn't
Hmm.
booking as much. And I have worked harder on my company in the last 3 months than I have in the last 4 years.
Yep, I
So
understand that because I'm starting to do the same process. So
yeah, it's hard.
because
It's hard. And it does, it kind of seems, at first, when I first took it on full time, I was like, what am I going to do? Like, really, what am I am about to not have a job and I have this office and I'm gonna,
hmm
set up, but what am I gonna do? And I am actually busy all the time trying to figure out, how to market and what my business needs and how to market to the right ideal client and, talking with these people and doing this and like, because you have to put in
hmm
that legwork. You have to do the 60-hour week things. Like
yep,
it's true.
I do it. I know.
Exactly. Yeah, you gotta.
Yeah, it sucks sometimes because
It
60
does.
hours a week, you barely have any time. That's 5 12-hour days in a row. If you're
Yeah.
not counting the weekend. If you're counting the weekend, then it's more like 72, 74, 75 hours.
Right. And I've been like a little bit more, well, yeah, I've been lenient on myself these last few weeks because I'm coming up into wedding season, like busy wedding
Hmm.
season. So I'm like, I'm about to be so busy. I'm not doing anything. you know? But
I'm
and then
resting.
exactly. And then, like social media is a whole other ball game. It's like owning
Hmm.
a whole other business. Ugh,
Hmm.
can't with social media sometimes.
Yeah, YouTube, yeah, and Instagram. I don't even care for Instagram that much to be honest. I still post on there, like as you know, but
Yeah,
right now I'm just pretty much focusing on YouTube.
that's awesome. That's great.
Thank
It's a
you.
good platform.
It is, and it's hard though. The algorithm is a bitch. So
Oh my
let's just
gosh,
say
yeah.
that.
Instagram's the same way. They're changing up their algorithm like every
Hmm.
3 months, and then you're like, cool.
Yeah,
Got in
it's
the
like
habit
no,
of doing one thing, now I gotta go to the next.
exactly. And when they do that, it make it hard for you to actually succeed in the platform because if you're changing it up every 3 months, you got to change your strategy. Which you know what you do in
Right.
business in real life, but they make it like 10 times harder.
Ugh, I know. And it's a whole thing. Sorry, my dog
Hmm.
just walked in.
Oh no worries. No worries. So we can talk about this all day. So
Yeah, we
let's just
really could, I swear. Oh
amen. So let's move on to question two, which you kind of answered in the first one, but
okay.
how did you find your niche? And I know you're a wedding photographer because I actually helped you at a shoot once, which was amazing.
Yes. You modeled for
Uh,
me.
yes, thank you. And that
Uh-huh.
was amazing. Like I really love the photos that came out. So yeah, so tell
Thank
us,
you.
you're welcome. So tell us how you find your niche and try to go in depth of why you chose wedding photography, if you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, at first, like I didn't even know that even though I started in wedding photography, I didn't know that was something I was going to be passionate about.
Yeah.
Um, when you're a second photographer just starting out, I feel like you're mostly looking at learning
Hmm.
everything. You're not really looking for your niche just yet. You're just looking at like the basics of how to, you know, run a camera and like work that out. And so at first I wasn't even necessarily looking for a niche. I was just looking for the experience of just like photographing in general. Um,
Hmm.
and then I second shot for this one wedding that was just amazing. It was so much fun. And when I say it was amazing, it's because, it wasn't something big and fancy. It was the couple. Like you could tell that they were like so in love with each other and they were just
Hmm.
like their relationship was just great.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna get super corny and cheesy and say
Go ahead.
all the things every single wedding photographer says, but I love love. And I know again that's cheesy, corny, everyone says it. It's like every wedding photographer's tagline, but I truly do. Like I've always been a huge like romantic movie person, like romantic comedies. I watch Hallmark movies all the freaking time, cry
Same.
at the Notebook all the time. Yeah,
Hmm.
like I am just like have a whole playlist for just dedicated to love songs. I've always loved love, have always. And so when I started getting into the weddings that you could tell that those couples like loved each other and it was just solely centered around their love rather than the big fancy wedding, it
Hmm.
was totally changing. And then I started photographing their family photos afterward, and then you got to see their family grow, and that is when I really knew, okay, weddings and families, because I do also do families. I don't market it much anymore because now it's just my wedding couples or like family members or friends who are growing their family.
Hmm.
I mostly market for weddings, but I just love it. I love watching their families grow. I watch love like I love watching their love grow. I'm corny, I'm cheesy. It's just true.
No, you're not.
So that's really how I love it.
That's awesome. Now, when I was talking to Sydney Shows, we was talking about how where you're in a space that you love to be, photography will become that much easier when you're doing
Yeah.
it. And when you started to be actually hired for these weddings, where you knew that that the couple was really in love with each other, that everything feels so much easier. Like it wasn't as stressful as say other weddings.
Yes. Yeah, 100% because it actually felt like, the whole it didn't feel just like a job like you were like, okay, well, I know it's going to be super stressful, whatever. It was easy. And I mean, the job itself can be stressful, like any job is
Hmm.
stressful, but knowing that their love was so pure and like it was going to be that easy. I was so excited to go and edit. I was excited to throw them in the computer and edit them and then give it to them because now they get to just experience this whole thing and they
Hmm.
get to experience their wedding day over again. And then they get to experience the photos that they weren't around for, like when you're
Hmm.
capturing the bridal party or the wedding party or your guests doing things while you're getting ready or whatever. They get to experience all that now and then it's fun. um and then they grow their family, so it makes it so much easier. I mean, I do other photography, like I'm not a senior photographer because they do a whole lot that I don't do, and I'm just like,
Hmm.
I don't even want to.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, and then I love taking newborn pictures, but it's stressful to me because I don't like I love babies, I love families, I love all of it, but it is stressful to try to do a newborn session because it's not my niche. So, like I don't have the whole crazy setup and all these really cool things. Like there are some bad ass newborn photographers out there who make these
Hmm.
newborn photos look freaking amazing. Um
Look angelic.
and huh
See, they look angelic.
I swear. And then like when I go to do a newborn session, I'm like stressed the whole time. I'm stressed when I put them in the like my light room because it's not my niche. So you are
Yep.
right. It is so much easier in a way when you find your niche.
Yep.
You get more excited about it. You're more
Hmm.
passionate about it.
Yep.
So when you say like you're passionate about, photography, it doesn't mean in like a whole general aspect. Cause like I'm
Mhm.
not, like as much as I would like to be like a landscape photographer, there's no way in hell. Like I don't feel like I don't have that creative eye, like
Mhm.
which is ironic because I take, my couples to places because of that creative eye. But then
Mhm.
like so it's just weird, but you're right. Yeah, it's different.
No, I totally understand that because same way, like, I do like to take landscape with my drone, but I know that I'm more of a portrait photographer.
Right.
I'm more of an sorry, yeah, I'm more of an event photographer.
Yeah.
Because that's what I've done. And portraits I love to do, especially at golden hour.
Yes.
What's your favorite time of day to shoot?
Morning, actually. I love the morning.
Really?
Yes, not necessarily sunrise, but like, I've been trying to schedule some of my engagement sessions like between 9 and noon. And
Mm-hmm.
I I'm trying to get better at sunset photos, which I feel like
Mm-hmm.
every photographer loves sunset photos,
We do.
but I'm like, it stresses me out. They get super hazy and I forget like my reflector sometimes. And I'm just like, I
Mm-hmm.
suck at sunset photos, like how I've looked up videos on how to be better at it. So
Yep.
I think like once I really start practicing more with the sunset photos, I'll love it more. Which is one of my goals for this year. But I like morning a lot.
You know what? I do enjoy morning too, but nobody ever want to shoot around that time. And
Yeah.
for me, like you already know, like I love sunsets, and I shoot overexposed because I feel like that helps me get the image I want. So, do you usually underexpose or do you overexpose, or do you just keep it right in the center?
A little bit of underexposing and keeping it right in the center. I like to underexpose on, those brighter days, which
Mm-hmm.
probably doesn't help with the haziness, but I would say that I underexpose mostly.
Well, you still
Um,
get some amazing images.
Thank you. Yeah, it just depends on the day. So like the wedding that I just shot on Saturday, the day it was like a really cloudy day. So I kind of kept it right in the center because
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't too bright out and it wasn't, obviously dark. So I was able to keep it like right at the center, which was great. There was a time like when the wedding party was walking, so it was all outside, with COVID and things like that. It's becoming more common for everything to be outside.
Mm-hmm.
So it was actually at Stony Creek Metro Park, even their reception was.
Mm-hmm.
So when they were walking in, if you will, for their grand entrance, the sun had just came out. So I really underexposed.
Mm-hmm.
But it has helped with the editing process because it's not blown out, it's not too hazy, things like that.
And you know what? I saw that on your stories, and that venue looked amazing.
Yeah. Oh
It
my
looked
gosh.
gorgeous.
Stony Creek is beautiful. Those pine trees are just
Mm-hmm.
gorgeous. It was super nice. Yeah. And it
I
was all
agree.
Star Wars themed. It was super unique.
I agree. And another thing I noticed with you and other people who are underexposed to, y'all images look bit more cinematic. So like literally like, and it's probably because you're underexposed because you retaining a lot of information for the highlights, which me when I
Yeah.
overexpose, I know it's very bright, but I do that to make my photos pop. And I know
Right.
underexposing, which I do every blue moon, like I don't do it a lot.
Yeah.
It definitely give a photo like a different feel.
For sure, yeah, because I can like really mess with those highlights and bring the
Mm-hmm.
sky out. And like you said, that cinematic effect, I like to say, like when people ask what my style is, because it's really hard. I don't know what to say because I feel like I'm a mix of everything. So I like to say dreamy because
Mm-hmm.
of that effect. You know, I don't know if one of your questions is style, so do you want me
Yeah,
to
it
wait?
is. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, you have those timeless photos where everything is kind of true to its color with just a little bit
Mm-hmm.
of pop. And then you have light and airy where your greens and everything is just so bright and vibrant. If you will, like it's not saturated, it's just really light, it's really
Mm-hmm.
airy. All there's no contrast. And then you have, your dark and moody where it is way more contrast and you have more of the oranges, more of the greens. And, you have that like darker vintage feel, if you will. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like, bright with contrast
Hmm.
and dreamy, not moody, so like I
Yep.
try to stay true to color. I really like to add some contrast. And so like what am I? Because it's also pretty bright. Like I have brighter photos. I would not consider I'm dark and moody. So it's
Hmm.
like it's hard whenever everyone asks me that, I'm just like, dreamy, light, and contrast.
Yeah.
And they're
Like
like, oh,
somewhere along those lines. Yeah.
exactly. I'm a mix of everything.
That's awesome because just like you, like when I do my photos, I do add a bit of contrast. I don't over contrast. The one
Yeah.
thing I like to do now is I like to take away the clarity in my photos so I can get it looking a little bit more soft. Even though
Oh yeah.
I do use a black pro mist filter every time I shoot, and that helps a
Yeah.
lot, especially with the highlights. But I still feel like it's still a little too sharp, so I will reduce that clarity. And I
That
feel
makes
like
sense.
that helps me get that timeless feel that I want and that I like.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I love that. See, I love clarity, like clarity and
Hmm.
texture and the sharpness. I want it to, I use the clarity in the, I know we're going to get into like editing and stuff like that as well, but I use a
Hmm.
lot of clarity and then I use the clarity brush itself. Like I love,
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I do.
No, I understand, and I understand. Like, like for landscape, I would use it, but like for portraits,
Yeah,
even neon photos, I take it away.
for sure.
Um,
Yeah,
because like we were saying, it don't fit the look that I want.
exactly. Yeah. So you want the soft and timeless look for
Yep,
sure.
exactly. And the good thing about photography is subjective. So what I like, you don't
Exactly.
have to like, and you can have your own style, and it's still gonna look good.
100%. And that's what I love too. Like, and you are really good. Even your video. Oh, I've been wanting to
Thank
get
you.
into video, but like, I ain't got time for that. I probably do, but sometimes I get scared and I'm like, do I really need to be spending more money on like other gear that I'm not going to really have time to use? But,
and and video is a little bit how can I say this? It's a little nerve wracking. This is why
ugh,
I won't shoot weddings with video
oh yeah,
because
no.
you gotta worry about everything from the audio, from the settings, to the lighting. You gotta worry about all that. Where
Yeah,
photography is, you have a lot more leeway. In video, no, like
absolutely.
if you get those settings wrong, your video is gone.
Yep. Yeah, I would never video a wedding at all. I always think about like getting into video and doing like a fun highlight reel for an engagement session. I think about that all the time. Like I think that would
Hmm.
be so fun. Um, but your girl needs like a second backup camera. Like I have two
Hmm.
cameras that I use, but like I need
Hmm.
another one and
Yeah, I know.
probably should see.
Exactly. I got a dual camera strap coming today, and I got the Fuji XS10 coming Friday because I'm shooting another communion this weekend. So I'm try.
Nice.
Thank you. I'm trying to use two cameras because last week when I was switching lenses, I felt like I was missing so much.
Yeah.
So
You gotta have a backup for sure.
yeah,
So that's good.
yeah. So I'm just renting it this weekend, but if I like it, I'm probably gonna buy it within the next month or so. So because
Sweet.
I won't have another communion till like another month away. So yeah,
That's
that's pretty
awesome
much my
though.
plan. Thanks.
Cool.
Thank
I
you.
love it.
So we already talked about. So since you already talked about you need a backup camera, we might as well go into that question. Everybody's favorite question: what camera gear do you use? Like, what's the
Yes.
brand? I already
Can
know, but they don't.
yeah.
Right.
I use Canon. I love Canon. I just I have a love-hate relationship with Canon actually. Because the newer Canons, I have a harder time focusing. So when I started out as a photographer and I really started getting passionate about it. So I did open my business 4 years ago, but I wasn't super passionate about it until about 2 years ago. And that's when I
Yeah.
really started flowing in my own company and things like that.
Mhm.
Um, and I was very much that new photographer who said that the gear is what made you a good photographer. So I decided to buy the Mark D 5.4 when it first came out for whatever
Mhm.
reason. Not really first came out because I guess it came out way earlier than 2 years, but still. Um, even the professionals that I were shadowing didn't even have
Mhm.
those. So I was like, I'm gonna be better than them and bought it. And
Yeah.
that was so dumb because I had like the hardest time learning how to focus. And it's been like 2 years, I think, maybe a year, 2 years, 2 years
Mhm.
since I've gotten this camera. And I'm just learning more about like back focusing, which has truly helped. But I know that mirrorless and Nikon, like Canon just came out with their mirrorless cameras or whatever, but
Mhm.
like with Sony and Nikon, um, they have a better time focusing. However, I love Canon's colors. I feel like they stick true to the colors when you're shooting.
Hmm.
Um, so
I
actually
agree.
at the beginning of the year, I thought about switching from Canon to like either Sony or Nikon. And my friends who have Sony and Nikon were saying that if I love the colors of Canon, to just stick with it because
Hmm.
I won't get that with Nikon or Sony. But focusing can be a bitch, and that's super
Hmm.
important
Yep.
for a wedding day. But
Yep.
I just learned how to back focus and was testing it out on Saturday, and it actually worked so much better. I still got to get better with it, but it worked better than whatever. So I love Canon, but I'm struggling with the focusing aspect of it.
I understand. Now, I would say I love Fuji colors. I think Fuji have better colors than Canon, but I would never
Okay.
knock Canon for their photography, though. I would never knock them for their photography because their colors are amazing. It's
They
just personal
are, they're so
preference.
good. Yeah, and it helps with editing.
Hmm.
Because I still like, even though I do mess with the contrast a lot and mess with those things, I still do like to stick obviously to the color. Like I don't like to dramatize it one way or the other.
Hmm.
So it definitely helps. I was potentially thinking about switching to the new mirrorless cameras, but was just informed that my lenses that I have now will not be compatible with the mirrorless. So switching, I guess. I don't know if that's true. I haven't done much research into it, but a buddy was telling me that I can't switch out my lenses
What lenses do
if I
you
go.
have? Do you got EF?
Yes,
Then you just have to buy an adapter. Right
like an
now they're like
adapter.
$200. Yeah. Because the photographer I'm teaming up with, she's trying to get one and they're like $200. And I called ProCam yesterday. They say them things are hard to find right now.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
so then
uh
now like you're spending an arm and a leg for this new body, but now you got to buy these new lenses if you can't find an adapter. And I'm just
yeah,
like, okay, I
yeah.
won't right now.
It sucks. Now on Amazon, they used to sell like the ESR. They used to sell
Mhm.
that camera with the adapter. But I
Oh,
don't see that.
nice.
Yeah, I don't see that anywhere now.
Everyone jumped on it. The second it came out, everyone
They
was like,
did.
I want it. I'm gonna get it. And I've shot with it before just for like a second, because a friend of mine brought hers and let me try it out.
Hmm.
So I can't really say one way or the other. I liked it. I really enjoyed their their viewfinder and the way that you can like focus and pull away and it'll show on the screen, or you can like go up to the viewfinder and see the photo in the viewfinder and really see the points that are focused and are not.
Hmm.
Um, and I like that. And I feel like it's easier to change the settings and stuff, but can't afford it right now.
No,
Photography is not, it's just expensive.
I understand. Yes, it is, man. Because
Ugh,
me and Sydney talked about this in the last podcast. But before I get into that, do you listen to the last podcast?
I did not yet. No, I'm gonna have to.
All right, here goes the funny part. Because in that podcast, I was talking about like how like somebody was shooting with a 5D Mark IV, and when I heard them hit the shutter button, I already heard like deuce, deuce,
Oh,
deuce.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that was you. I heard that was you actually.
Yeah.
At
That's all
that style shoot.
Yeah, that's all I do too. And that's how I felt like the other day at my wedding on Saturday.
Hmm.
Shoot, they were coming, like she was coming down the aisle and I was just hitting it, and that's all you hear is, and then like when they're praying,
Hmm.
during the reception and stuff, it's click, click, click. Then I'm just like, I gotta figure out how to turn that off. I
That thing built like a tank though, man. Like I
swear they're
remember,
so heavy.
yeah, I think you let me hold. I think you let me hold it when I was there. Like that thing is built like a tank.
It's
I
heavy.
could
And
see
with
why
the
you
lens.
guys use it. Hmm.
Yeah, I just got a new lens as well, and it's so heavy.
Which one?
The 35 1.4.
Oh, I love F-1.4.
I
I love
love,
that.
yeah. I got it back in July. It was
Hmm.
after, oh no, no, no. Yeah, yeah. I think it was after our styled shoot because we had our styled shoot back in July, but then I went to um Silver Lake Sand Dunes after.
Hmm. Yeah, because I was supposed to meet you there. I was having car trouble on the way there. So,
Yeah, yep, that's
oh, that
right.
sucked. That
Oh, no,
sucked.
it's okay because there was a storm coming in that day, and so
I
the wind
remember.
was insane. That sand was like whipping around and it
Hmm.
hurt. I felt so bad for my couple. And then
Oh.
I have, the small changing tent that I bring,
Hmm.
the green one.
Yep.
So we
Yep.
had that out there, and she had another outfit she was going to be changing into. were at the top of the sand dunes in the middle of a wind storm, if you will. It really wasn't. I'm sure it's always that windy, but there was a storm rolling in. And she was trying to change in it. And we like found this little area with all like mini trees, if you will. And we had to tuck it in there and like hold it because the wind was just whipping around. It was insane. So it's probably a good thing that y'all couldn't make it because
it was
too much.
gorgeous over there though. And over there, like literally on that west, that's the west side of the state. Yeah, it is gorgeous over there.
Yes, yeah. I'm heading to the Sleeping Bear Sand Dunes at the end of July for some shoots. So that should
That's
be
where
fun.
I want to go.
Yeah, I've never been.
Me neither. That's why I do want to go check out. I want to go fly my drone there.
For sure. Oh my gosh, it'd be so cool.
Now, there was something I was about to say, but now the reason I want not Canon colors is because I shot with a Canon for a full year.
Yeah, nice.
I was this close to buying one, that close, but then I decided to go with Fuji. So
yeah, that's good. Yeah, and if you love it too, that's great. I'm afraid to make the switch because I could rent a camera and just try it out. I was thinking about doing that. But
if you do, go to Lens Rentals. That way you won't have to drop a huge deposit.
Go where?
LensRentals.com.
Okay.
Yeah, because if you go to ProCam, I love ProCam, but if you go there, they'll make you drop almost like pretty much what the camera is worth brand new as a deposit, and then to charge you for them daily fees. Where on Lens Rentals, it just like for the Fuji, I'm only paying like $56, $60 something for the weekend. That's it.
That's good. That's how Camera Mall is. So there's Camera Mall in Ann Arbor, and their rental fees are very cheap too.
I need to go check them out then.
I love them. Yeah, I like Camera Mall a lot.
Yeah, but I said, I wish I would have known that before I put in the order the Lens Rentals.
Yeah, it's okay. You might, I don't really remember if there's a deposit fee or not. I just know that their rental fees are cheap too. So you might be better off going with the website you went, but I'll have to check it out. It's been a minute since I even looked into it. So that's why I don't really know what it is, but they're good. I love
it. It's cool. And you definitely should. Because depending like if you want to shoot the R6 or R5, if you just want to rent it for a weekend or even a week, you'll have that experience.
Just to check it out.
Yeah, exactly. You'll have that experience, and you can say like, "Hey, and pretty much that $100 will let you know if that camera is worth the investments or not for that whole week." So, I think
it's worth it for sure.
Exactly. So, let's go to the next question. Do you use Lightroom, Photoshop, or do you use both?
I use both. But I mostly use Photoshop for getting rid of things and images. So I primarily use Lightroom, love it. And I just started using for like my culling process. I just started using Photo Mechanic. I've only used it like about 2 times now. And so far it's helped because culling in Lightroom is just ridiculous. And if you're watching and you don't know what culling is, it's kind of getting rid of the images that you don't want. And doing that in Lightroom is so slow and takes up so much editing time. So I tried out Photo Mechanic and I actually like it. But we'll see. It's only the second time. I'm still learning the ropes. But I like to use Photoshop for making GIFs and cloning things out of images. You can clone and heal in Lightroom, but it's not the same in Photoshop. Yeah, no, it's so much harder in Lightroom, and I wish that I knew more about Photoshop before. But Photoshop, you can literally take one part of the image and replace it with another part. Like if there's like a trash can, you can just clone over it with something and you can like basically draw it in there and make it look so much better than just clone stamping it in Lightroom.
Content aware feel.
Yes, my gosh.
It's a lifesaver.
That is a lifesaver. You should really check out the clone stamp. Have you done the clone stamp tool on Photoshop?
Maybe I may have did it with skin retouching. I'm not sure.
I did.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it is for sure. I just started learning about it, but I did a reel on it on Instagram a few weeks ago with getting rid of the handicap sign, and you just draw it in basically instead of doing the whole content aware, because sometimes it pulls for a different part. Like if you have like a whole field, and then there's a trash can, you can easily just content fill that right in. But
Yep.
sometimes when it's like closer to the person's head and you do the content fill, it like takes their head and moves it over here. And you're like, that's not what I wanted Photoshop.
Mm-hmm.
So the clone stamp has been really great because you can just draw over. Um, and then I make GIFs a lot. So that's what I use Photoshop for. I love making GIFs.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really it. And like if I do studio sessions, with a backdrop and I need to smooth it out, that's what I use Photoshop for. But like as far as
Mm-hmm.
touching up skin or colors, I don't know how. That's why. I just haven't looked into it. And trying to do a whole wedding session in Photoshop the way you do in Lightroom, to me is impossible. So
Yeah, it's a bitch.
yeah,
I
outside
did
of
that with skin retouching.
yeah. No, I'm good on that. Which is
I did
good
it with
though.
that
Like,
style shoot.
huh?
I did it with the style shoot. It
Did
was
you?
rough. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm gonna I can't do it. I just don't have time. My turnaround times are too quick. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, even if I did have the time, I probably wouldn't do it because I don't want to say I've mastered it in Lightroom because that sounds super cocky, but like I meant like I've mastered it the way that I do it. I've gotten in a routine. That's the word, not mastered. I've gotten in
Mm-hmm.
a routine of how I do it through Lightroom.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the way that I like to do it. So that's why I don't want to learn. As far as getting rid of things in images, I hated the way I was doing it in Lightroom. So that's why I
Mm-hmm.
learned with Photoshop and things like that. But yeah, the skin retouching in Photoshop is great. Like your work with that is great. And I probably could do it. I just don't give myself that time.
Yeah. Now I'll be honest. Lately, because I use the Black Pro Mist filter on almost all my shoots, I don't even
Yeah.
retouch skin that much anymore.
Oh,
I just
nice.
I just don't see a need to because I already give you that softened look. So if you see like a few marks, unless a person really want it done, but if they
Right.
don't, I'm not gonna do it because like you, I like my turnaround times to be fast.
Yeah.
Where literally I can edit 100 photos within a few hours, and I can send them to the client. Like that's how I like to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And I only really retouch it if there's like obvious blemishes that they don't want in.
Mm-hmm.
I try not to like I just try not to over edit.
Yep.
Um,
Same.
and it's easy to do. Like that's what I've been struggling with this new wedding is I know that we're gonna get it. I don't know if we're gonna like get into editing and presets and things like that, but like
Yeah, actually, yeah, go ahead.
with this new wedding, I've been so like trying to figure out exactly how I want to edit. So last year, right when COVID hit, I'm very new, obviously, in my business.
Mm-hmm.
So last year I was really trying to figure out how I liked to edit. And I I've always just edited from what I knew as far as in Lightroom with the highlights, the exposure, the contrast,
Mm-hmm.
and then the colors, and that's all I really did. Um, and then I saw that buying presets were a thing. So
Mm-hmm.
I bought a preset from like the Embrace collection
Mm-hmm.
um, to learn about, I really liked the way it looked and I wanted to see how you could make it look that way and look like um similar to that or what you tweak and things like that. So over the last year, I've really been honing down on what my editing skill is like, or like what I
Mm-hmm.
like to edit as, I guess, not what my
Mm-hmm.
skill is. Um, so doing that taught me a lot about the tone curve and the color tone curve.
Yep.
So over the winter was when I really learned how I loved to edit. I ditched the Embrace collection. I didn't like, we talked about how like the softness and the clarity. I really liked more of clarity. They were very much soft.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't know like technical words. Like I wish I could tell you what about the tone curve I didn't like.
Oh no, no
Um,
worries.
yeah, but I don't like know really much about like what the words are and things like that. But
Okay.
so I got rid of those. So I started like messing around with the tone curve and
Mm-hmm.
really getting my edit down to what I liked with that. And I figured it out for the winter. Loved my winter sessions that I've been doing. Um,
Amazing.
yeah, thank you. And now I'm going into summer, and I know it seems silly, but you being a photographer and other people who are photographers watching this probably know you have your winter, your
Mm-hmm.
spring and summer, and your fall edits.
Yep.
And I am struggling with the spring one because even though it's not necessarily bloom spring, there's a lot more green.
Yeah.
And the winter sessions, we're all dealing with, oranges and whites and,
Yeah.
brown and things like that. And now I'm like trying to deal with the greens. And so I've been like struggling, but it's cool because I'm learning, like with my edit that I created for the winter, I'm tweaking to try to match, with summer, and it's hard, but I'm getting there. So that's what I've been testing out with this last wedding.
I understand. My favorite tip when it comes to green and photos to just desaturate them. That's what I do. I just
Seriously, that's what I
desaturate them.
do.
Yeah, I just take them down because I just feel like unless I really want them to be noticed, when I focus on the edit with a person in it, like
Yeah.
Lisa, like I shared I shared a photo of Lisa like countless of times, even when we
Yeah.
edited it, and my focus is like her skin tones, like her skin tones, like her,
Yeah.
and so that's why I desaturate the green. A lot of time, if it's like if the yellow is not impacting the skin tone, I'll desaturate
Yeah.
that a bit. Like in my edits, I just try to make sure your skin tones is what we actually draw eye to.
Yes, exactly. And like the yellows and the greens are the hardest.
Mm-hmm.
And in my winter edit, I really like pink, which, sometimes you can look at a photo and you're like, there's no pink in it. With me, it's so funny
It is
because
sometimes.
my wonderful fiance,
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't deal with like editing, and
Mm-hmm.
when you start working with editing, you see blues and pinks
Yeah.
and yellows everywhere, right? So you're
Mm-hmm.
seeing it in the photos or when you're out, you're taking the photos and things like that. So when you put it up and I'm trying to get rid of it, and I'll show her all the time and I'm like, does this look too yellow to you? And she's like, I don't even see yellow. And I was like, it's right there. And she's like, I don't see
It's
it.
different. It's different for a photographer because I could be
Yeah.
out and about driving, and during a sunset or a sunrise, I would actually notice the red, the pinks,
Yeah.
the orange, the green, the blues, and the shadows. I mean, when
Yeah.
you do photography and videography, you start to notice that in real life. Even when
Absolutely.
you're watching movies, you start noticing, like,
Oh
oh,
my
look at the
gosh,
colors.
yes. She laughs at me so hard because something I've been dealing with my 60, my Canon 60,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm still learning a lot about technical things, but
Yeah.
I especially with the longer lenses,
Mm-hmm.
um I've been dealing with a lot of like chromatic aberration. I don't know if I say that right,
I get
but
a little bit of it too.
yeah, and it can be frustrating, but if you now when we watch older television shows, so like The Office, it's all I see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've watched The Office or not, but like
I
I'll
have.
see
Yeah.
the green outline or the purple outline,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, there's so much chromatic aberration
Yep.
in this show. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, do you see the hues around them? Like, do
Yep.
you see that? And she's like,
Yeah.
oh my God,
Look at the
seriously.
trees. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Their
I know
heads
that on
when
a
they
lot of
like zoom
Netflix
in.
shows. Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Man.
So funny. She laughs at me. She's like, oh my God, can we just watch it? And I was like, I can't stop staring at it.
Yeah. It's like literally once you catch your eye for that, it is hard not to look at it in a
Ugh,
different way all the
yes,
time.
exactly. So in my winter sessions, I do have a lot more of the pink tint,
Mm-hmm.
and bringing that into my spring sessions kind of make it a little harder because now the
Mm-hmm.
trees look red and they shouldn't be, and just these little things. And I'm like, okay, I'm figuring it out. So that's what I
Yeah.
was doing before this call, like this podcast, is I was learning, trying to figure it out.
Just sometimes it's hard, man. Sometimes it's hard. I
It is.
understand that totally because I do the same thing. Like I'm always editing, even if it's old photos, like or video. Like I'm always doing some type
Yeah.
of edit. And if you need help, let me know. I'll help you with that.
Thank
So
you. Yeah, I could.
you're
I'd
welcome.
probably, I've always like my brother's the person that I go to who I'll send the photos to and be like, what do you think about this?
Mm-hmm.
So it's constant and sometimes he's
Mm-hmm.
busy. So maybe I'll just start hitting you up and be like, what do you think about this?
That's cool because the person I'm partnering with, she sent me a couple photos before, and I liked her composure. Like she composed really, really well. And I was
Yeah.
like, honestly, in this photo, all I would do is just play with the highlights and shadows and you're good because everything else looks
Yeah.
good.
Right. And that's
But
what I
they,
was trying to do today. Like I was trying to start from scratch instead of the preset that I made. I was trying to just
mm-hmm,
be like, let's play with it and see. And
mm-hmm,
so which is cool because I really do learn a whole lot and I'm
yep,
learning. And I think you do like in this profession, you're constantly learning.
mm-hmm,
And I love that. So that's what I'm doing with my editing a lot too, is I'm just learning and I like it and
mm-hmm.
I'm excited.
I agree, and that's why I don't buy presets or LUTs. That's
Yeah.
exactly why I don't. Yeah,
I
I want to
liked I
learn.
Yeah, and I was fine with it. Like I was fine. I heard people were doing it and I was like, "Oh my God, I didn't even know like buying presets was a thing. I'm just going to do it."
Mm-hmm.
Um and I don't regret it because again, I learned so much. Like you can easily YouTube these things, but sometimes
Mm-hmm.
starting out you don't know that. You just like,
Exactly.
now I YouTube everything.
Mm-hmm.
But
Same.
before I didn't. So I was just like, "Oh, I'll jump on the train of buying presets."
Mm-hmm.
And they're there to teach you and things like that, but it's fun when you just create your own. And so
Agreed.
it helps to
Mm-hmm.
learn like what you like and how to edit, but like creating your own and tweaking them and making them yours is what makes you stand apart for sure.
Agreed. And you know, Manny Hill just confirmed this. I've been feeling like people were doing this for a couple of years now. Since I've been in photography, like what, 4 years, 3 or 4 years. I feel like people have been doing this almost since day one. And Manny Hill actually confirmed this. He said he sold some presets or LUTs, and he found a couple of people was actually reselling his preset and LUT packs as their
Oh,
own.
for sure.
Yeah, and I'm just like, God, like this is why like I just don't watch everybody because I don't see the originality.
Exactly.
I see everybody
Yeah.
trying to I see everybody trying to copy like the bigger YouTubers.
Hmm.
And when they do that, I'm like, bro, but what about your own style?
Yeah.
Which is why I get kind of tired of Instagram, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, people bank with presets, and I mean, like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not even gonna lie. There have been times where I follow certain photographers, and I'm like, I like their style. I wonder what preset they
Mm-hmm.
use. I'm gonna see if they're like selling the preset,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't obviously.
Yeah.
And then I just figure it out, and I Google. Okay, well, there's this part of this photo that I really liked. Let's see how I can, make it
Right.
happen because that's if you really think about it, every preset was somebody else's preset. It's
Yep.
just tweaked.
Yep.
It is
Exactly.
just tweaked.
Exactly. Now the only photographers I will actually maybe consider buying their presets is Sydney Baker Green, who's another Michigan photographer here in Michigan. Brandon Wolfo and Sam Cole. So Sam
Brandon
Coder.
Wolfel,
Yes.
great.
Yes. Love Brandon.
Brandon
Outside
is
of
great.
that, outside of that, nobody else.
Yeah. There was
I,
this one photographer. Her name is Jo Johnson. She's awesome. I loved her. And
mhm.
I bought her mobile presets for my
Yep.
personal Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I like the way like this looks. And because which I just found out, you have Lightroom regular and you have Lightroom CC, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So the regular Lightroom is also connected to your mobile phone.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Um, I've always edited in Lightroom Classic,
Yep.
but on my phone I have Lightroom regular. So
Same.
I bought it because I thought that I was gonna like start taking more photos of me and my puppy when I got him, and me with my fiance and all these things. Like I was like, I'm gonna have that personal Instagram, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So I have the personal one and the professional one, and they're gonna both blow up. Like that's what my head was like.
Yeah.
So I bought
Yeah.
like the mobile presets and I got Lightroom regular on my phone. And I think I edited maybe like one photo and never touched it again.
Yeah, you know what? For a while, I was editing a lot on my iPad because when I was using my old laptop, the colors were always inaccurate.
Yeah.
So I would edit a lot on my iPad at the time. But then, really, what changed that was like on that laptop, I just started putting my screen brightness down to like 40%.
Yeah.
Start editing
See,
like this, and it's a lot better.
that's what people say to do. And then I don't do it. I should,
Yeah.
but my screen brightness is like at 100%. And then when you plug it in,
Mm-hmm.
it's even brighter.
Yep.
So I have to
Yep.
remind myself that sometimes.
Yep.
And
I know, right?
it's so bad. Because then
Now,
I'm like, oh, this looks too bright. And then I'm like, wait,
mhm.
it's really not that bright actually. So I'll like send it to myself on my phone and look, and I'm like,
Yep.
nope, I need to brighten it a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. I used to do the same thing. I used to send myself photos like 4 or 5 times just to make sure everything was accurate. Now I
Yeah.
don't do that anymore because, like, like I posted before, like I switched to Mac, so I had to buy a whole new setup.
Oh,
Now the
yeah.
monitor I got is like color calibrated, so like
Oh,
I just
nice.
put it. It is nice actually. So I just put it into sRGB mode and I edit it that way and I keep it moving.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's crazy because like I'll pull up my galleries on my Mac and on my phone and
Mm-hmm.
on my fiance's phone. She has an iPhone as well,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all great. But if I pull up that same exact gallery on her, what is her computer? I think it's a Dell, on her Dell,
Mm-hmm.
completely different.
It is.
They're so, and I think it's Dell. I don't think it's my photos, but like
Mm-hmm.
they'll look like they don't even have color in them.
Exactly. They look washed out.
Oh my God.
What Mac do you use?
MacBook Pro, another
All
new
right.
one.
If you looking to get something to help you color, just get a monitor. Like just get the monitor. That would totally just help you out. Totally. I mean, Mac, they do have good color science, but like if you want something to help you, just get them get like the Asus monitor. That's what I have. Totally worth
Okay, that's a good idea. I should probably do that. Yeah, I got like, this is a 16-inch, I think, just so I could have a bigger screen. Yeah, it's
it.
16 inch. Um,
It's
and I
totally
love
worth
it, but
it.
I definitely want like a monitor. I want something bigger
Yeah.
to edit on.
Yeah. I only paid like 300 for this. Like it wasn't that
Oh,
bad at all.
nice.
Yeah, totally worth it. Totally changed everything for me.
Oh, I bet for sure, because it's like, it's difficult.
It
And
is.
then
It
you
is.
try to buy like the Apple desktop and it's like another 2 grand and it's just ridiculous.
Well, the Max wasn't that bad. The Mac Mini, thank God, is not that bad. Even the one I got, I paid about 1,000 for.
Yeah, this
Um,
MacBook Pro was too much.
yeah, I believe it. And
Should have bought another camera.
I know, right? No, I believe it because I was thinking about getting. I still want to get the Air, the Mac Air, the new M1,
Yeah.
because I do run the same chip as my Mac Mini, and I think that'll be really well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want a MacBook Pro. They too much. They're too much.
They're too expensive and then they don't have any like ports for anything. They don't have a SD
Exactly.
card port. They don't have a USB port, but I'm really bad. This is why I need a monitor so that way I
Hmm.
can stop like taking things. I do things harder than smarter half the
Hmm.
time, and I'm just now learning that I need to research before I buy. And I know that sounds really stupid, but I'm the kind of person who's like, oh, I need a hard drive, and I'm going to buy the first one I find.
Hmm.
Right. So I was buying like the WD easy storage
Yeah, but I got
ones
that.
that have the spinning motor on the inside that
Hmm.
breaks all the time. I have like 10 of them and they've always broken. So I switched to the SSDs, the smaller ones. I love these so much, like the SanDisk,
Hmm.
because there's no motor, they're not easily breakable, they're great. But the point is like I travel a lot and like so I
Hmm.
edit everywhere that I can.
Hmm.
But this is my third MacBook in 3 years
Wow.
because I have broken them
Wow.
because yeah. So this was a very much last minute, I'm out of luck kind of purchase that I needed to
Hmm.
just make right away because I was in the middle of editing an wedding when I broke
Hmm.
my MacBook Air. So
How?
that's why I just like I spilled water on it. I was driving. I wasn't driving, but we were on our way up north
Hmm.
and it's like an hour and a half trip. I was in the back
Yeah.
seat because I had to edit and I have just a water it's like a travel mug that is
Yep.
made for like coffee and stuff like that. But I
Hmm.
put a straw in it
Hmm.
and we were not even a minute from the house that we were going to and we made a curve and my water bottle spilt and fell on top of my laptop and it wouldn't
Hmm.
turn on.
Oh, I'm sorry to
And I
hear
was
that.
in the middle of I like editing a wedding. So
Hmm.
2 days after, because we were up north in the middle of nowhere, I had to just run as quick as possible and get my MacBook Pro because I needed to start.
I
Because what
understand.
I didn't know either is that in Lightroom Regular,
Hmm.
you can back up the photos in Lightroom Regular and
Yep.
um, they'll be there. So like what I've always done is in Lightroom Classic, I've exported my photos to my hard drive and then imported them into Lightroom. So if I did not have my hard drive, I could
Hmm.
not edit the photos. And they have to recognize them on my desktop. So when I broke the computer and I got my new computer and I logged into my Lightroom and stuff, it said it didn't recognize the photo. So I had to start the wedding all over and I was almost done.
I'm sorry. And you
No,
know
it's
what?
fine. It was like a whole thing.
I'm sorry, because that dude sucks. But you know what? I'm glad you mentioned the SSD drives because I just use a hard drive for storage. But on this Mac, I have actually DaVinci Resolve and Lightroom and Photoshop both running off the SSD drive.
Yeah.
So that way it can make everything faster. It's not just bogging up the computer. And they're
Exactly.
much more reliable than a hard drive, just like you said.
100%. So I have a backup that stays home, the SSD, that backup, and then one that I take that travels with me. And then I am about to get another one because I actually just ran out of storage on my other one. Just so that way they're backed up twice every time. So that way, in case something happens to this, it's fine. But then Lightroom will still recognize it on the other one.
Yep.
So it works. And these are so like, I can't even tell you. I have a whole thing downstairs of the WD hard drives because I travel a lot. And I mean, the littlest bang breaks it.
Yep.
The littlest. And I was at the airport one time and my laptop was on my lap and the hard drive ended up moving and just falling right into the chair. Barely even did anything, wouldn't freaking work because it dinked it just enough for the disc to stop spinning and I couldn't get it back again.
You know, I had that happen before and it sucks. Seagate, they actually replaced that hard drive though, but I couldn't get none of the information back. And it's funny you say that because I'm worried about the one I have right now. Damn, I got it actually mounted to the desk. And I just been thinking to myself, like, I need to actually back these up so I can actually have them on everything else. So what I might end up doing now, since you actually talked me into, I might go get another SSD drive like today or tomorrow, and just using that as just storage, or maybe just selling out for 2 terabyte and just doing it that way.
Yeah, for sure, because it's just better. Like, I think that I want to get a big hard drive, like maybe a 10 terabyte, and it probably will be a disk, but it won't leave this office and it'll just literally have every single wedding backed up just in case, but then I'll have it twice backed up on this and another one that's just like this. Just because like you never know with how much crap that I've dealt with the WDs and the Seagates, I'm like, I'm not taking any chances.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, I just won't do it. I
don't blame you because I'm actually gonna replace this desk soon. So I'm thinking to myself like, I may want to do that before I replace this desk.
Yes, definitely. Just in case.
Exactly, because I might break it, which I thought I did break. I thought I did break it a while back when I switched positions of it. And I understand totally.
It's scary. Because it really is the littlest bang and it's all out of whack.
Yep, I agree. So let's get to the next question. And you already kind of touched on this too, which is actually pretty awesome.
Sorry.
I know you're fine. Do you have any tips and tricks for either new photographers or even veterans to actually help them capture better photos?
Experience and just learning.
Perfect.
The Unscripted app. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's awesome. I'll try to give you a little preview. I know we've talked a lot and we're like coming up on the hour, so I'm sorry, but.
Oh no, you're fine. No worries.
So it's unscripted for photographers. It's only $100 a year. I'm in no way like affiliated with them. I'm not like just trying to like plug them and get money for it or whatever. But so what it is it's super cool. And it's got weddings, engagements, families, maternity, newborn, graduation, individuals and branding, groups like wedding parties or just families in general. It's even like super inclusive, like they have it for LGBTQI couples and families. They have one called Golden Oldies. So it's like for older couples, indoor and lifestyle, boudoir, people and pets, seasonal and occasions. And so what this is like, let's just go to weddings, and it's photos and poses from other photographers. Like you can, sorry, I know this kind of sucks, but like you can go
cool.
and like see if you can post your own images. But so they give you ideas.
Okay.
So it's super cool. It's literally $100 and it's a lifetime thing. And what it does is it even gives you, so it gives you the photo, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it gives you the direction. So the direction would be to touch foreheads and close your eyes. And then
Mm-hmm.
prompt suggestions, take a deep breath, exhale, and find that specialness. Let your love shine as brightly as the stars, like silly
That's
things like
awesome.
that. And
That is
it's so
awesome.
cool. It's amazing. So not
That is
only
awesome.
Oh, so not only do you have those categories, right? So it's weddings.
Mm-hmm.
So you got them if you want them standing, if you want them
Mm-hmm.
walking, maybe sitting, maybe on a bridge. Um, and then you got like if it's a bride, if it's a groom, if it's an LGBT couple, if it's groups, so your wedding party or detail shots. And it gives you
Mm-hmm.
prompts on how to do all of these things. It's a glorified Pinterest for photographers.
Man, that is awesome you say that because I use Pinterest to actually help me model. I mean, actually help me
I'm
post
gonna
my
send
people.
you this app. I'm gonna send it to you. And even what you can do as well is it's also a form of client management. So
Mm-hmm.
they have, you can schedule your sessions, not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily schedule them. Well, you could, like if you oh my God, all of it's so cool. So there's client management, right? So you can create a new photo shoot. I don't know if you can see it or not.
It's kind of bright, but it's all right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I wonder if I can. Duh. So, like lower the brightness. We were just talking about it. So like if you have a photo session, so it's client details. So this was an engagement session I had. So it has client details.
Mm-hmm.
You can take the poses that you've seen and save it to that session. So that way
That is
you know
awesome.
that it's amazing. Questionnaires, contracts, and invoice. I don't use this for my client management, but you can
Mm-hmm.
timelines, checklists, photo shoot history, things like that. But if you just want, like I just use it for my photo shoot. So if I'm like, let's get some new inspiration, I've been using the same 5 poses forever.
I know,
Let's do
right? Yeah,
yeah. So I'll go to like weddings and let's say I really like this forest dance.
I love that.
It's so great. So what there is, there's a heart, you can heart it to your favorites, or you can add it to an engagement session that's coming up. So you can create a new photo session, add it
Mm-hmm.
and win, whatever. So the cool thing about this also is that like if you're doing golden hour, you want sunset, there's a sun tracker. So you can go to the date of your session and
Yeah,
it tells you when blue hour, sunrise, and golden hour is. It's
that is
amazing.
awesome.
And then it tells you camera setting guides. So if you're out in full sun, it tells you what to put your camera settings at.
Mm,
This is great for any photographer who's just starting off.
I need
Um,
that in my life.
it's amazing. I love it. It's sparkler exits, what's to put it at your all of your settings at,
Mm-hmm.
tips on how to get the best natural light, dancing, candlelight, blue hour, golden hour, natural indoor light, and full sun. Like this
That's
is the
awesome.
best thing to use.
I need you to send me that link because I need that. I
I
need
will,
that
and even
app.
when you post this or whatever, hopefully you can share it and people
Yeah,
can,
I
I'll send
definitely
it to
will.
you. But
I
that's
definitely
a
will.
great tip. Experience and always be shooting. I have literally gone to, I will even do it now. And like I'm booking more than I used to,
Mm-hmm.
but oh my God, sorry. I
You're
will
fine.
go to Instagram and go to the town that I live in. It kind
Mm-hmm.
of sounds stalkerish, but it's fine. And you know, people tag where you're at. So if you see a couple, which is what I did for my very first snow session, it was my favorite session ever. I found a couple who loves Instagram. She's a blogger, things like that. And I said, hey, I'm looking to shoot this weekend. How do you like, are you available? Would you like, I'm so and so. I told her who I am, showed her my work, whatever, and said, would you be willing to shoot for me like a
Mm-hmm.
half hour long? Loved those photos. It was probably my first session of the winter that I actually loved, which prompted me to do more winter sessions.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just the practice. So I see poses I like, I want to implement them. Like we had a crazy
Same.
snowstorm and that's what made me want to take photos. I'd never taken photos in the snow like that before.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to try. So I reached out to somebody, was like, hey, can we do this for like a half hour? Would you be interested? And now she's a great like friend. She's gonna be hopefully hiring me for her wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And like just that experience is really all I can say. You can watch as many videos as you want and do as much research as you want, but if you're not out there doing it, you're never gonna learn. So keep
Learn.
shooting. Yep.
Go ahead. Go
Keep
ahead.
doing it.
Yeah. 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 Pretty much. That's what I live by. Learn, practice, repeat.
Yes, exactly. You have to. So if you are starting out, look at what poses you want, look at what want to do. Are you more of like, I want those posed dramatic feels? Go out and do
Mm-hmm.
it. And you can
Mm-hmm.
make anywhere beautiful. Like honestly, you can.
Yeah.
And then, if you want more of the candid photos, go to this app, go to Pinterest, see how you can prompt your couples to really just be themselves. Like sometimes I will like tell my couple to do a pose, if you will, and
Mm-hmm.
they'll just get so awkward and fun with it. I don't even say anything and I just keep taking photos and they're just trying to figure it out. They're like, "No, that's not how you do it. You do it like this." And they're laughing and like that's what brings out that's their relationship. It's not posed. So you got to just figure out what you're looking for and just make it happen.
That's
So that's
awesome, and that's awesome you say that because when I shoot my friend, him and his wife, I always have to tell Lenara like, man, hug your wife, bro. like y'all
yeah.
are married, hug your wife, man. Like show me you love her.
Exactly.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, and that's what you got to do. And I mean, this app is super cool because it sometimes when I first started out, the idea of being confident in telling people how to pose was the scariest thing ever. I was like, hell
Mm-hmm.
no, I'm not telling anybody what to do. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not talking to anybody. I'm just gonna hope that they can, pose for me and I'll just take the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really scary. And so this app really helps you because it basically tells you what to say and how to prompt them. And
Mm-hmm.
then you're learning. And it's okay if you pull out your phone during the session. Like I'll do that sometimes. I'll be like, there was this super cool photo that I saw and I really want to recreate it with you. So I'm just gonna pull out my phone for just a second and like look it up on my app that I have. So I look it up.
Mm-hmm.
Typically they're fine with it and I do it. So it's okay if you have to do that.
Yeah,
Nothing's
just
wrong
let
with
them
it.
know.
But yeah, especially at an engagement session. So I encourage that. I encourage you to learn always and just try it. You have an inspiration for something, go and do it. Call up a friend, go on Instagram and stalk people. Like I have asked people who I don't know to take photos of. I do it in other states. If I know I'm going to another state,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, hey, I'm coming here. I'm a photographer. Can I take photos of you? And they'll
You
either
know
say
what?
yes or no. That's not my thing. And you find someone who will want to. So just do it.
Amen. And you know what? That's not stalking. That's marketing. That's being
Yeah,
smart.
exactly. Oh my God, that's what I do. That's how I market everything. I'm constantly on Instagram, on my Facebook groups, on like I am everywhere, just trying. That's what you got to do.
Yep, I agree. Because I'm starting to do that for the podcast. So like, I
Yeah,
reached out to a
nice.
photographer yesterday. I saw somebody else who I like here from the metro area. I'm gonna reach out to her see if she want to come on. And
Good.
that's what we have to do.
You gotta. That's how
Yeah,
you do it. Put
yeah.
in
We
that
just can't.
legwork.
Amen. We just can't stay at home and watch ice cream. I mean, eat ice cream. So
Exactly.
yeah,
As much as I would love to. Yeah,
I know, right?
exactly. Sometimes it
Oh
seems
man.
like that though. Like Instagram and social media make it seem like that you just post photos and you're automatically like booking all the time. You're like getting all these followers, you're doing
Hmm.
this, but it's like it's a facade. It's not
Yeah,
true.
yeah, yeah. It's not the real world. Don't let social media fool you. It's a lot of hard
Exactly.
work. Even
Yep.
with growing a YouTube channel, like it is hard work. I mean, I could
Yeah,
do everything I'm supposed to, and if the algorithm don't pick me up, then it's gonna be a bitch.
exactly. Exactly. So you got to put in that legwork. You have to. It's a whole thing. And social media alone is a whole other like business. I say it all the time. It's like owning a whole other business.
And you're 100% correct. And actually, YouTube, when you do a YouTube channel and you're actually growing it is actually legally a business.
Yeah.
And yep, so you're 100% correct.
Yes.
Oh man.
So I love it. And I love that you're doing this too, because like I feel like it sheds light for people,
And
you know.
yeah, and thank you first of all, because what I realized, and I knew this, and I was never trying to be this type of person, but I can't be the sole authority on everything photography, videography, or even music.
Yeah.
So I rather bring people on who do this and who's better at me, who's better at it than I am. I'd rather bring you guys on and actually shed some light on subjects that on certain subjects
Yeah,
and
for
just give
sure.
knowledge. And just I want my community to learn from somebody who's actually doing this. as their 9 to 5, as their career.
Yeah,
Because I'm just now starting to try to go that route fully, like wholeheartedly now.
that's
And
awesome.
so some stuff, if people have questions for me, like I won't be able to answer it. But you can, Hannah can, who I'm gonna reach out to,
Yay.
Ashley can definitely help out. Sydney, she did, Kitty Novak, she did, just getting knowledge from professionals who do this every day is such a bet. It's like it's the best way to avoid certain mistakes because they're
Yeah,
telling you exactly how to avoid them.
exactly. Exactly. And it's sad, but there are a lot of people in this community who are more about competition than
Hmm.
and we're all competing against each other. It's
Yeah.
just how it is.
Yeah.
But everyone needs a photographer and we're all in different styles. And the thing
Hmm.
is, it's like we're all trying to build a business. We're all trying to do exactly what we love. So we might as well come together. And it's sad because there are some people out there who won't like give you that information. They won't help. And I had a friend yesterday who's just starting out in photography. She's great. She's actually interning with me for a few weddings. She's going to be like assisting me.
Hmm.
And like she had posted in one of the photography groups just asking a question that as a seasoned photographer, but as a
Hmm.
new photographer, you don't know. And being in a photography group and being a new photographer, you're going to ask these questions. And someone flat out was like, you shouldn't be calling yourself a professional. You're an idiot. Like, I hope you don't take photos. And her photos are actually pretty good.
Yeah, fuck
She's
that
really
person.
good. Like, I'm going to have her be second shooting with me. If I didn't trust
Yeah.
her, if I didn't think that I knew what she was doing, like, I wouldn't have her come to a wedding with me, things like that. But then she had posted in our small group that we have, like, should I just stop taking photos? All because and I'm like, no, that's not how it is. So I love that you're doing this. You know, just learn and
Hmm.
don't let someone sway you. Um,
I agree.
yeah, so it's great. This is awesome. And I hope, I still have to learn a lot. Hannah
Hmm.
is still learning a lot. Like you will always be learning in this business,
Yeah.
especially with the way that the world changes and social media changes and marketing changes and new
Hmm.
wedding trends and things like that. Like we're always learning. So this is awesome.
How
I
long your
like it.
friend been shooting for?
Say it again.
How long have your friend been shooting for?
I think she's only been shooting for this past year.
Oh, really? If she want to come on the podcast and talk about her experience, her first year experience as a photographer, tell her she is more than welcome to reach out to me.
Yeah,
She
okay,
definitely
cool.
come
I'll
on
send you her information too.
because thank you because whoever said that to her is a piece of shit, and
I
he or she
know.
should have never said that. Like you said, we like yes, we are in competition with each other, but we don't have to be super competitive. Like
Yeah.
as you know, like you see my Instagram stories, probably like I share other photographers' photos that I really like
Yeah, so
and
do
I
I,
enjoy.
100%.
Yeah, and it's like I understand, like clients may not like my style of shooting, so it may go with somebody else, and that's totally fine. Like I'm not begging
Right.
nobody for their business. I'm not begging somebody to pick me over this person, like because when you
Right.
do that, I feel like that really hinders your growth,
Mm-hmm.
and you really have. And then maybe I learned this because I read books about it, but you really have to understand people, and not everybody will like your style of shooting. Like
Right.
that's just the obvious truth.
Yep.
Don't be mad when they choose somebody else. No, that's sorry, I can't talk. Don't be mad when they choose somebody else because you know what? Maybe you know that photographer that they chose, and maybe he or she may need a second shooter. So
Yeah,
and you can still help.
absolutely. And, if you like get rejected or you get, ghosted,
Hmm.
they're not your ideal client anyway. And that's something that I'm learning a whole lot is if they're not valuing you, they're not your ideal client. And there
Hmm.
will be people. And it's a hard thing to learn, especially when you're starting out. But I've been working with a business coach actually who's been teaching me a lot about my value and a lot about
Hmm.
running a business. It's hard. There is so
It is.
much that goes into this.
Hmm.
And it is a hard thing to do to run a business in general.
It is.
So just take time and it takes time. It seriously takes so much time and
It does.
practice.
It does. And the best thing I could tell you to actually help filter out some of that BS, it's not you, Mikayla, but probably like other photographers,
Just in
because
general, yeah.
your coach is probably teaching you this. Have a contact. Yeah, have a contact form in place. Because
Yes.
people reach out to you on social media, a lot of times they're just window shopping. They're not serious.
Yep.
Because there are plenty of times people reach out to me in my inbox asking me what's my price. And I ask them to fill out that contact form. And 99% of them never do.
Yep.
And they give you your answer right there.
Right. Yeah.
Don't
I
even
like to
waste
get
your
my
time.
clients on the phone. I have a contact form, and I say like, let's get on the phone, let's chat, like, the
Mm-hmm.
spiel. And if they don't, then because also you do get those, photographers who are competitors, and then they kind
Mm-hmm.
of want to see what you do and what you're selling to see what they can sell. And so like I'm
Mm-hmm.
always like, let's get on the phone.
Yeah,
Let's chat
exactly.
one day.
Exactly. Like, if you want inspiration from my website, feel free. Like, I
Yeah.
don't care. I don't care. 'Cause, like,
Yeah.
I do video as well, and like I'm gonna be like some people editors soon, helping them edit. So it's like I
Nice.
really don't care because I know like photography. I love photography, and I know as business, it's not the end all be all. And I'm kind of glad
Hmm.
it's like that for me because I'm passionate about photography. And that if I was trying to run it like as like a very 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 competitive business, I feel like I would start to lose that passion. And it almost happened to
Yeah,
me with music
exactly.
before, which is why I am the way I am now with it.
Yeah. And you have to, and that's the thing with social media too, is I can let social media get me down a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can
Same.
consider myself so hard. And sometimes I need those breaks because then it gets to a point where I'm like, should I even be doing what I'm doing? You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And it's like, you can't do that to yourself. And
I
the,
agree.
the thing, the crazy thing too is like, I know I work for somebody who has created this photography or just in general empire of wedding vendors. I
Mm-hmm.
work for a studio called Falcon Film Studios, like on the side. I shoot for them sometimes. I
Mm-hmm.
help with their planning and things like that. And he does DJ, photo booth, video, photography, and now a wedding coordinator. He does all of that. And he maybe has like 100 followers on social media,
Mm-hmm.
but he's constantly booked. He has an entire team. He's got an entire, like Mike's staff productions and things like that. And
Mm-hmm.
so, yes, social media is a great place, and I market on there a lot, but in hindsight, it's not what's going to make you successful.
No,
And it's hard to know that, like, if you don't have so many followers, then you're not successful, but that's
exactly.
not how it works.
Exactly. Because a lot of people seem to forget social media is not real life. We post our
Yeah.
best moments on there and that's all you see. You don't see
Yep.
the struggle. You don't see the mental breakdowns. You don't see like the days where we feel sad about ourselves, but we don't feel like
Yeah.
everybody's supporting us, or we're better than this photographer or videographer, but why they have more views and more followers than us. They
Yeah.
don't see these days
Nope.
where like we doubt ourselves.
Exactly. That's why I do my mental health Mondays every Monday on Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
because I try to show reality
Mm-hmm.
and just be so transparent and real, because it's true.
It,
Hard.
it is. And I'm glad you mentioned that because I'm not about I wasn't about sorry, I can't talk right now. I'm not
Mhm.
about to ask the last question that you saw on the list I sent you. I want to ask you because you said this on your stories that you was looking to start a podcast, and I'm
Yes.
happy you're gonna do it.
Yes.
So tell us about it. What is it? If you want to talk about it, what is
Yeah.
it going to be about?
So, back in January, I started doing this thing. It was kind of a fluke, but I started um going on my stories on Instagram and asking people how they were doing, or asking them to tell me one good positive thing, because I was having a bad weekend. And I just decided to be transparent. I was like, I'm having a rough weekend. I need some good news. Like, tell me what's your good news. And it turned into me going live every Monday
Mm-hmm.
at 6:30, talking about mental health. Um, and I have people who join me on my lives, talking about different stories. Like 2 weeks ago, I had someone on about gut health and its relation to mental health. My sister came on, talked about mental health in military.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend who released 2 books um, based on her survival through domestic violence.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I had someone come on who talked about anxiety. Um, and then I talk about like coping mechanisms with anxiety and panic disorder. Everything just really revolved around mental health because I myself struggle with mental health issues. And when I was at my lowest, I thought I was the only one who struggled with it. And I think a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people do. So I like to bring awareness to it because then it helps people, find their right path. And I try to help people find affordable therapy. Anyway, so it has now kind of been hard to stay consistent with going live every Monday evening, especially with my busy season starting up.
Mm-hmm.
My sister's softball games will start on Monday at 4, so I won't be here. So I wanted to start a podcast revolved around that instead of going live. Um, because I can be more flexible with it and I won't feel the pressure of needing to stay consistent on when I go live. Because
Mm-hmm.
then again, you put that pressure on yourself and you become less passionate about it. Um, so I'm trying to, I thought that maybe starting up a podcast would make it easier for me to be flexible. That
Mm-hmm.
way I can still talk about it. And, um, with my live videos, they have to go to a specific place. They have to go to IGTV and they
Mm-hmm.
have to try, listen to it. And if it becomes an hour long, some people aren't going to want to sit on their Instagram and watch this video. But if I turn it into a podcast, they'll be able to listen to it while they're doing things on their phone or while they're doing dishes or while they're, in the car, they
Mm-hmm.
can plug it in rather than having to worry about exiting out of Instagram or things like that. So, which I feel like would make me have a bigger audience and make things easier for not only me, but also the people listening.
I
It's
agree.
been great. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I said I agree. That's all.
Yeah, it's been great. Like, I started going live at the beginning of February. And last week I had a text from a friend and a follower. And that was the 5th person who has signed up for the affordable therapy and has been going to therapy.
See,
So it's been amazing.
you're doing a lot of good in the world, man. I'm happy to hear that. You're doing a
Thank
lot of
you.
good in the world. And
Thank
I ain't
you.
gonna say I suffer from mental health. I could kind of understand because when I had an ex broke up with me like almost like 8 years ago, like I was defeated for a good 1 or 2 years. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I was drinking every day. I just didn't care about life. I didn't care about
Yeah.
anything. I just didn't care if I died or not. Like that's how bad it was.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is why like I have so much empathy right now with people who do suffer from mental health because like I said, I may not suffer from it every day, but I had a period where it was rough, man. It was pretty
Right.
dark.
Yeah.
And I understand like, shit happens and sometimes like your reaction about it won't be a good one. And you need people there that you can lean on in those times to
Yeah.
really help you. So
Absolutely.
I'm really happy you're doing that.
Thank you. And I'm glad that were able to overcome what you were going through and
Thank you.
where you're at now. It's amazing.
Thank you. Now, I do still suffer from doubt. Like, I mean, that's just
Oh, of
honest to God truth,
course.
and we all do.
Yep.
Maybe it's a little harder than I like to admit sometimes, but some it may take a few
Yeah.
days for me to get over it, and then I'm just back at being me. Like, or I just keep working through it. That's one thing I learned. Like, even when
Yeah.
it's hard, just keep working through it. Like, just put something in front of you that you need to do and get it done, and that just help ease it every single day to where you just won't be thinking about it anymore.
Absolutely, 100%. And that's the thing is like, we're all human. We're always going to feel no matter what. Yeah, I have people that come to me and go, I just want to never be sad again. And that was something that I put on myself. I was like, I just want to be positive 24/7, but that's an
Mm-hmm.
impossible goal because we're human. And
Yep.
the part that like the thing is we have to accept those parts, like the sad
Mm-hmm.
parts and those, sadder days or the harder days, or if you're angry, the more lenience you give yourself with those things, um,
Mm-hmm.
easier it becomes to get through it. Because you can't say that I want to be a positive person and never be angry again, because it's impossible. You're a human being, you're going to
It
get
is.
angry. So just being able to be like in those moments when you're angry and go, okay, I'm going to be angry for 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I'm angry. I'm either going to cry, I might hit a punching bag, I might just scream. You're
Mm-hmm.
going to give yourself that room and that acceptance to feel it which in turn will make it easier for you to get through the day and not
Yep.
be as angry. Because the more angry you are about being angry and the more you're beating yourself up, the longer you're angry for, which
Hmm.
then causes you to just be angry all the time. And now you're mad at yourself even more. And now it's this whole cycle. So it's just what it is. You just got to accept those parts and,
Yeah.
like you said, work through it and just
Hmm.
keep pushing.
Yeah, because like you said, we can't control what happened every day. Like, only
Yeah,
thing we can control is how we react to it. And like you
exactly.
said, sometimes you need to vent. Sometimes you need to be mad. Give yourself that
Yeah.
allowance. And then after you say like a 10 minutes or after a day, like just tell yourself
Mhm.
like, all right, I did this enough. Now I need to start taking steps to where I can get back to
Yes.
being positive. Because sometimes
Exactly.
you're gonna get hit with something that's gonna be hard to sell and it's gonna hit
Mhm.
you very, very hard and you're gonna be down from it. It may
Yep.
take you a while to recover, but as soon as you take that first step, you're already on the path to becoming back to your regular self or
Yeah.
becoming positive again.
It's easy. It's a hard process, but it's something that you can do.
Hmm.
1000%.
I agree. And you know what? If you need help starting that podcast, let me know because I would
Yes, I
definitely help
will. I'm
you.
gonna need to know like everything in general, like the setup. I'm gonna need a
Yeah,
microphone. I'm gonna need to know where I even go to
yeah,
do it.
yeah. Because you can actually after you get everything recorded, you can actually just host it from your site, or you can just host it, which I kind of do. I kind of do too. I do have it on my website, but at the same time, I go through Buzzsprout. That's where I host it, and that's where I start putting it
Okay.
on the different services, and all of
Nice.
that
Well,
for
we'll
free.
definitely have to talk for sure.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
be
I can.
messaging you.
Cool. I could definitely help you with that because I feel like a lot of people need that. A lot of people need you and what you can offer them.
Thank you. I
You're
appreciate you
welcome.
so much.
You're welcome. Well, I'm happy you came on because I had fun, man, and it's good talking to you again outside of social media. So,
Yes, it is. Thank you so much for asking me and being flexible with my schedule and stuff. I really appreciate you. This was great. I'm glad that I could do this. This was awesome.
you're more than welcome. And, I hope when your podcast gets started, I definitely hope I can come on there because it's gonna
Heck
be
yes,
fun.
I would love you to for sure.
Thank you. And I feel like what you can offer people can honestly help them save their lives. So,
That's the goal. Cause
yeah.
yeah, that's the goal.
Yep, I understand. Trust.
Sure.
I understand. Trust me. So, thank you for coming on, and I hope you have a good day.
Sure. Yes, thank you. You too. It was
Oh, you're
great
welcome.
talking to you. I'll talk to you
Amen.
soon.
Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Thanks.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye. That was